What's up guys, it's another Thursday and it's another tech video. This one's going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to be talking about a specific bit of hardware. I'm going to generally be talking about a couple different things with the new iPhones coming out and why I personally am getting the iPhone 11 Pro, but why most of you, if you buy iPhones, should probably just get the 11. Now, doing what I do with my tech videos, you can be damn sure I'm going to be getting the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which is still a really stupid naming scheme, but there does actually happen to be a pretty good reason for me to do that. If you guys follow any of the tech videos that I do, you know that I'm a big fan of photography. I love taking pictures, video, you name it, and when I do any of this, when I go anywhere, I usually take 3 kinds of lenses with me. This was not influenced in any way by the way that Apple does their camera setup on the iPhones at all. In fact, they haven't even come out with this phone yet. Originally, it was either one angle if you had the 10R or 2 angles if you had the 10s Max. But with the 3 cameras, it actually lines up with the 3 kinds of lenses I carry around. So obviously, as you can see by the video, I am a big fan of wide fields of view. This camera in particular has a 16mm lens on it. Generally, I will carry around a wide-angle lens. I will carry a mid-length, usually like a 35mm or a 50mm, and then a telephoto or some kind of zoom lens, which would at the most be like 150 and normally is like a 75mm. So not crazy zoom, but enough to get me into something I'm trying to look at. And on the back of the iPhone 11 Pro, you have a wide, a mid, and a zoom. The zoom is actually a 52mm equivalent, which isn't terrible. It's a pretty decent reach on a camera sensor that small, but you're not getting very far, and you're going to be doing a lot of digital zoom if zoom is that important to you. And on the back, of course, it looks like the top of a stove or a blown-up Apple Watch with 3 holes in it, or a face, or whatever you want to call it. Yes, it looks kind of weird. I get why it's designed that way. Usually because of spacing, they're going to do something with AR or some sort of depth mapping or something. I get why they do it. I don't agree with the design. I think it probably could have been a bit better. I like the strip design that they used on the Note 10, but that's, anyway, moving on. Now, at the beginning of the video, obviously, I said that I was going to be getting the 11 Pro, but you all should probably get just the standard 11. And that's not to sound elitist or sound like, oh, well, I'll get the better one and you can just get the cheap one. There's a reason for that for me, apart from just photography, and it has to do with sort of my preference, but also what kind of situation I'm in at the moment. So my current daily driver phone is the iPhone XS Max with 64GB of storage. Nothing crazy, but it is my daily driver phone. I like using it. It's a good phone. It's been the best phone I've used so far, which, as the best iPhone on the market, I would expect it to be the best phone that I've used. Apart from Android, of course, there's probably a better one, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. If I trade this iPhone into Apple, I will be able to pick up an iPhone 11 Pro Max with 64GB of storage for $499 plus tax. That is actually a really good deal on something like an iPhone of that caliber. $499. That actually makes it cheaper than the 11, but that's because I'm trading in my older iPhone. Not everyone will be in that situation. In fact, with somebody I know who still uses an iPhone 6, if they were to trade the iPhone 6 in, they're only going to get $60 in that trade-in to go towards that iPhone, which means it's going to be about $1,040. So it's still going to be a massive amount for that kind of phone. And the smaller iPhone Pro, the 5.8-inch model, will still be $940. So it's still not a major difference in price. You're literally just talking $60. But for me, I don't go on price, I go on value. And because of the kinds of photos I enjoy taking, because of the kinds of lenses I carry around with me every time I take a camera with me, I see the benefit, I see the value, mainly because of those cameras. And of course, with performance and durability, I go around without a case on my phone all the time. That is just how I've always carried my iPhones. Yeah, it's kind of sketch for people who are more, not as careful with their phones. But Apple, of course, is claiming that this has the strongest glass, has the best water resistance, blah, blah, blah. You can go on. And for me, that's sort of one of those better features that I think would probably be a good thing in my instance, because I don't then have to go and buy another case for it. I don't have to buy any cases for it, ideally, and it should be all right. Plus, I get Apple Care, so really, Apple Care is my case. Now, I feel like the standard 11 is probably going to get the same bad rap that the iPhone XR got, which is it's still got the same resolution as an iPhone 4. It's pixel density, it's not resolution. The resolution on those things is great. The pixel density is fine, and nobody really complains about the pixel density unless you're a big YouTuber who wants to complain about everything that's related to Apple because it's better on clicks. Looking at you, Lou from Unbox Therapy. But overall, the iPhone 11 is actually the most competent of the iPhones in this series. Now hold on a minute, because I just talked about how the 11 Pro is better in every way, or at least made it seem that way. That is true for power users like myself. Apple is actually kind of taking a Samsung approach with this, which I never really thought those words would come out of my mouth, but they just did. Essentially, the 11 for the iPhone is the same as the Galaxy S10 series for Samsung. It's the general consumer phone. It's the phone that a lot of people are probably going to end up buying. It's got the features that people are looking for, the dual camera with an ultra wide and a standard. It's got a really good display, no matter what anybody who wants to, hate on Apple for clicks says. The trade-in value, actually, if I were to trade in my iPhone XS Max, let me put this into the calculator here. So I just punched it in on their website here, and I wasn't actually expecting this, but if I traded in my XS Max with 64 gigabytes of storage and got an 11, just standard 11, I could get a 64 gigabyte iPhone 11 for $99 plus tax, or $150 for an iPhone with 128 gigabytes of storage. That's a pretty good deal, actually. Now, of course, I'm not getting the 11 because I said I'm going to get the Pro. I like the camera configuration on that a bit more. But why would you, the viewer here, why would most people get the 11 instead of the 11 Pro? Let me name off the differences between the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11. Telephoto camera. More memory. You get 6 gigabytes on the iPhone 11 Pro, and you get 4 on the iPhone 11. The display going from LCD to OLED between the standard and the Pro. You get OLED on the Pro and you get an LCD on the regular iPhone. Screen size, kind of. I mean, not really, because you get a 6.5 and a 5.8 on the Pro, and you get a 6.1 on the standard. So really, you kind of get a middle-of-the-road, good-sized display. And build quality. You've got aluminum and glass on the 11, and you have stainless steel and glass on the 11 Pro. Oh yeah, and a $200 difference for those 5 differences. So really, unless you are a pro user who sees the value in those extra features, sees the value in the better display, the value in the better camera, the value in the OLED, if you are one of those power users, then yeah, the 11 Pro makes sense. I'm one of those power users. I'll go after the biggest, baddest iPhone on the market just because that's what I'm into. And I also like the fact that I can match my camera bag's lens options to my phone's lens options. So that makes it a lot more easy for me to take a picture on a phone with those options, switch over to my camera, and still have those same options. Except you don't have to change the lenses on the phone. You just switch in the camera app. It's actually pretty nice. But for most people, they aren't really going to care about that kind of stuff. And with the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Pro, I see a lot of similarities between the Galaxy S and the Galaxy Note series. The Galaxy S series comes out, and anybody who wants a Samsung phone, who just wants a phone, doesn't like Apple, doesn't like the other companies, wants Samsung, is Samsung loyal or brand loyal to whatever, or just likes the Galaxy series. There's nothing wrong with that. They're the ones who buy the Galaxy S10 or whatever is out at the time, but the power users are the ones who go and buy the Note series for the better camera, better RAM, better screen, bigger screen, pen, whatever. And they pay for it. And I feel like with the iPhone 11 and the 11 Pro, it's going to be the same way. Like, I know usually these are not my kind of videos. I don't usually try to talk about hardware unless I physically have something in front of me to talk about. The little AR clips is basically the best that I have for this, but I just found it very interesting, the new approach that Apple's taking with their phones, because you end up getting this very interesting dynamic that shows the difference in their mentality now versus back when they were kind of in the midst of that refresh with the 10 and the 10S, where the 10 with its design was a $1,000 phone, but it really didn't feel... It felt big because the next closest phone was the iPhone 8 in terms of their lineup, but it didn't feel very special once all the designs had that. And in fact, it felt like the 10R was a downgrade in a way, even though there was really nothing different about it, and it still sold like gangbusters. It was just that it didn't really feel special. I think with the way Apple's doing it now, which is, like I said, very similar to the way Samsung's doing it with the Note 10 and the S series and all that, I feel like doing it that way is going to be much better because people who get the 11 don't feel like they're getting a downgrade, they feel like they're getting the standard phone, and then people getting the 11 Pro feel like they're getting a more upgraded version of the device, which technically is true, they are, but really, unless you have a very, very, very specific need, or you know that you fit into that niche for the iPhone 11 Pro, you could really just get the iPhone 11 and not even really notice a difference. The gestures are the same, the glass is the same, the band is different, camera's a little different, but you get the same standard and wide angle. The displays both look great. You get the deeper blacks with the OLED, but you get the amazing color tuning that Apple has on their iPhone, well, any of their Liquid Retina displays. The color tuning is incredible. I have an iPad Pro with the Liquid Retina display, and while it does have ProMotion, which I do wish they would have put into the iPhones, honestly, the color tuning for me is phenomenal. Both have Lightning, unfortunately. Both got rid of the headphone jack, which I don't care. Both have upgraded Face ID, wireless charging, speakers. It's all the same. So unless those 5 differences that I named off speak directly to you, whoever is watching who they do speak to, and you feel as though you would want one or all of those 5 features, and you don't mind the 6th change, which of course, like I said, is the price, then by all means go for the iPhone 11 Pro or Pro Max, whichever one. And if you have a trade-in, go for it, because really that brings the price of any of these way down. But if none of those things really matter to you and you just want an iPhone, a new iPhone, not a used one, get the 11. It's got a great camera, great screen, great speakers, great build, and it's $50 cheaper than the 10R. That actually really surprised me as the lower price, but I'm not going to get into that. I think that for $699, it is a completely reasonable phone, and people keep saying, oh, well, iPhones are so expensive now. You are aware that the 5, 5S, SE, 6, 6S, all of those were also $700, right? It was just that they were on contract, so it seemed different. Either way, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think you'll be picking up an 11? Do you think you'll be picking up an 11 Pro? Do the differences make any difference to you specifically at all? Do you think I'm in the ballpark? Do you think I'm crazy for getting an 11 Pro? Lots of questions. Do you think I might as well just go get a Galaxy because they're better anyway and cheaper and blah, 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 whatever you think, let me know in the comments. And apart from that, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Make sure to be there and have a good one.